everyone. I just want to give a little PSA before you start this. The audio's a little off this week. My microphone is not my friend this week. It will be my friend next week, but I'm so sorry. And with my sick voice, oh my goodness. Bear with me for this one. The message is still there. Love you guys. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Bright Side. I'm your host, Caroline Susko. If you can't tell by my voice, I'm sick, but we are going to persevere through this today. I truly cannot even be talking because my voice might sound a little sicky, but when I was at alumni weekend for UNH this weekend, I was with one of my roommates, and our very first night out, she was literally just talking, not even singing or screaming. Her voice was gone. Like, it was past the raspy voice that, like, we all love and know. It was, like, just gone. So if she can do that, I can do this. So let's get into today's episode. This weekend, I went back to UNH for the first time since I graduated. You guys, it was bittersweet, but first, let me tell you, I do not have the social battery I had before. Like, it is nowhere near. Like, I hardly had a social battery, but my social battery now is in the negatives. Like, I don't know how I lived this life for 4 years. I came home, my stomach was churning because I ate chicken tenders, pizza, and fries for 3 days straight. I was at the bar more than you can know, and I wasn't even drinking, and I was just, like, exhausted. As much as I would like to say I would love to live my 4 years of college again, those are the parts that I don't know how I could live again because I am such a grandma now. Like, my social battery is nowhere near the same. And this was simply just a weekend. 2 days. You're telling me I did this for 4 years? Craziness. I can't fathom how I did it. And, like, if you know me, my social battery was already on the minimal side. Like, it took a lot out of me to get to the bar and put on a cute outfit. I was just like, I would much rather do just something wholesome with the girls. So this weekend, it took a lot on me. And you guys, if you have done your senior week and then you go to alumni week, it's not even comparable. When I did senior week, I was like, oh my gosh, it is truly survival of the fittest. I felt like I was Katniss. Actually, no. I felt like I was the first person that died because that was me. I was drinking Gatorade. I was barely drinking that week of senior week, and I was just exhausted. And this was just like that times 100. It was exhausting if I haven't made that point straight already. So I drove out Thursday instead of Friday to start my weekend because I went to go see Jake Shane in Boston, which was so funny. He is every internal thought I've ever had voiced out loud. He's freaking hilarious. And that was so much fun. His advice, I can't say it on here. I can't, but downright hilarious. So I went to go see Jake Shane on Friday. And you guys, let me just note, Jake Shane will be on this podcast. I'm putting it out there into the world. Me and him, like, in another life, if he just knew who I was, I know we would be best friends. I know we would. So I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to pinky swear on this podcast that he's going to come on at some point. I just know he is. I just know it. So I stayed over at my friend's house in Boston. Guys, don't ask me about this Charleston-Boston pipeline where I'm living because I have no idea. I'm starting to spiral over it because I can't make decisions. So we're just not going to talk about that right now. Then I made my way up to UNH, and you guys, this was like a kid on Christmas morning seeing UNH because last time I was at UNH, I was hysterically ugly crying because I did not want to leave and had to leave. So this was like, okay, I'm back, and it was much more happy and exciting, but it also was bittersweet because, like, we went to go visit my apartment, and I was like, this is so cute, but, like, this was my room, and it's just like a weird feeling. And then my freshman year roommate and I, we went to go see our freshman year dorm and knock on the door to what used to be our old room, and the girls answered, and they're like, oh my gosh, college is going by so fast. Mind you, they are freshmen, and it is October. They've had college for a month. It was so precious, and we were just so happy to hear it because me and Riley, my freshman year roommate, we were counting down the days until we could go home. It was COVID. We didn't have many friends, and I did not make her life easier. I was just like an anxious girl crying in the corner every day because I hated college at the time. So we were so much happier that they had a great experience. And don't worry, we had the pipeline of hating college to loving college, like so many people do. And it was just so funny to go back there. And then the weekend started. It was seeing all of my friends, seeing all the people I never thought I'd see again. Not that I didn't want to see them. Like, you just like, really, where are you going to see them? Especially when I live 4 hours away in New York. And again, it was bittersweet because you saw everyone, but honestly, this was the last time you would probably see everyone together, see the same group of people all together. And it was just, I don't even know how to put it into words. It was so much fun, but it was also so sad because you're like, okay, this is it. Because for UNH, you go back your year after you graduate, and then after that, you don't really go back until you're like way older. So we're like, this is actually goodbye for a while. But, whoa, just like broke the microphone speaking. Okay, I fixed it. So I got to see so many different people, and it was so awesome. And it was honestly a great second half of closure because I got to talk to people that I didn't get to say goodbye to last time, or some people just had things to say to me that really made it that full circle closure moment. And this is kind of where today's episode is going. I had this one girl come up to me, and I was a new member ed in my college days. Please, my college ones were 3 months ago, Caroline. Wait, September, October, like now it's 6, ew. But I was new member ed in my sorority, which meant like I helped them get initiated. And one of the girls came up to me, and this was honestly so cute, and it's one of those things that'll really stick with you. And she was like, Caroline, you helped me so much through the new member ed, and it just helped me to know that someone else was out there who didn't really love college at first, who didn't really love to go out and drink. And I made this so clear to my new members because I was like, I want people to feel understood. Just like I do and come up here on this podcast, I want people to feel understood. In my freshman year, I did not feel understood. I felt like I was the only one. I felt like I was just so confused and the only one hating school until girls in my sorority started coming up to me and were like, Caroline, we felt like this once too. And so when I had my new members, I wanted to make sure, I wanted it to be crystal clear that just in college in general, you don't have to feel guilty for not going out. If you don't like going out, you don't have to go out. And it's okay to not love college at first. It's okay to be homesick. It's okay to be anxious. And so I said that to them, and she came up to me this weekend and was like, Caroline, that conversation has stuck with me since because I really am not loving college right now. I don't really like going out, and not because I don't like the people I'm going out with, just more so like I don't like I'd rather much do like a wholesome activity. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'd rather do as well. Like I'd rather go watch a movie with the girls than go to the bar. But that's just me. That's just personal. And she said that to me, and I was like, one, that just meant the world to me because I'm so glad the mission I put out there is actually what people took from it, and that they realize that they're not alone, that they don't need to do the quote unquote steps that every college kid does to have a fun year. You don't have to go to parties to make memories. You don't have to be drunk to make memories. There's so many more things you can do. So this is where I decided, okay, we're going to have this episode today because there is so much pressure to go out, to drink. Whether you're in college, whether you're post-grad, the pressure is still there. And I went back to school, and I just know if I drink, it doesn't end well for me, and it doesn't end well for my anxiety the next day or the people around me. So this weekend, I stayed away from drinking and was like, okay, I'm just going to have a good time. I'm going to DD. We're going to have fun at the bars. I'm just going to sip on like a Shirley Temple or a Sprite or something and still have my fun, because just because you're not drinking doesn't automatically mean you can't have fun. And that's the first thing I want to talk about, because people are like, oh my gosh, you're sober at the bar. Like, that's so good. Like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. Like, I don't know about you, but me, I am just as fun sober as I am drunk. Like, I am just Sandy. I can do it, and I have fun doing it. So now let me kind of just explain this weekend from the point of view of someone who doesn't drink. Okay, who doesn't drink, period, is a stretch, but who doesn't drink a lot. I dabble in it. Like, every couple of months, I'll have a bev or two, but that's it. Anyways, so the pipeline of this weekend, pipeline is my word today, can you tell? Pipeline of this weekend was, okay, game day. We wake up, it's 7 a.m. We have to get ready and go because 9 a.m. the tailgate starts. So then you start drinking, hypothetically, at 7 a.m. Then at 9 a.m. you go to the tailgate where you are drinking again with everyone and eating a bunch of food and getting ready for the football game. But at UNH, you don't go to the football game really. Like, unless your boyfriend's on the team, you're really not going there. So at 11 o'clock, then we head over to the bar line, because at University of New Hampshire, there are just 2 bars. There's Scorps and there's Libby's. And it's so funny because every year they change of who likes what. Scorps was our bar last year, so my grade loves it. And Scorps lines were absolutely ridiculous. So the bar opened at 1. So everyone starts to get in line at like 11:30, 12. And so we sit there. I wish I could just show a video right now of the bar line, because it honestly looks like you are in line for a Disney ride. Like, I'm hoping at the end of this line is like a ride, a celebrity. No, it's just alcohol. It's just alcohol. So we wait in line for an hour and we are at the front. We did a great job. And then the bar opens at 1 o'clock p.m. And once you go out, you are not getting back in. So you have to stay at the bar till you are absolutely done. You have to eat there, you rest there, you drink there, you dance there. You do it all. So it's not like go to the bar for 2 hours and then go have your fun elsewhere. No. If you are in this building, you are there, and you are there for hours. And when I say hours, no, not like 3 hours. My friends were there from 1 p.m. to close 12 a.m. I think that's 11 hours. And then there's also the people, if you wake up at 4 a.m., you can get Line Leap. Line Leap, you pay $50 plus, and you can cut the line. So some people buy that, but like, I was like, okay, I am not paying $50 because I'm not even going to drink. And I was like, $50 can get me a Zara shirt. Like, come on, Caroline. Like, let's think about what I would actually want to do. And the answer is a Zara t-shirt. This wasn't even a decision. I knew where my money was going. So we are in line and we get in, and I am there for all of an hour and a half before I'm like, okay, I've had my fun. I am so exhausted and I can't do this anymore. Said my goodbyes and peaced out. But because I didn't drink, I was like, okay, I'm actually just going to go home because my friends will be at the bar for the next like 10 hours because that's just how the bars work there. And for that, they deserve a freaking medal. Not like any medal. They deserve like a titanium platinum medal because, oh my gosh, that is a social sport in itself. Being there for that long, mingling with all these people, doing it all, like a pat on the back for you. Because in the time I left the bar, went to go see one of my friends, drove 4 hours home to New York, then took a shower, ate dinner, and went to bed, they were still there. I was like, you girls know how to do it, and your social battery is thriving. Me, on the other hand, I need to go to bed. I'm like 10 years old now. I'm like a grandma, actually. Like, I can't. But what works so well with my friends and I is that we support each other and what we want to do. If we want to go have a crazy fun weekend, I'm like, okay, you go do it. If I'm like, guys, I've been here for an hour and a half, I don't feel good, I want to go to bed, I'm done sipping on the Sprite, I want to go. They're like, okay, Caroline, you go. And I think that is what is so beautiful about friendships nowadays. Not all of them, but when you find these type of friendships, these are the ones you want to hold on to because it's not a judgmental way either way. If you want to go stay at the bar all day, you do that. I am so proud of you. Here is your platinum medal. Me, if I want to stay for a bar for an hour, my friends are like, you did it. You survived an hour. You go, girl. Go do whatever you want. And I think that is so good, especially in the college culture, because a lot of people look at, like, if you're not at the bar, if you're not drinking, if you're not going out partying, you're not living your quote unquote college experience. And I know that's not true. My friends know that's not true. And we respect each other for that. And I think it's important with the pressure to go out to first realize that you don't have to go out. You can do whatever you want. And oh my gosh, one of the things that drove me nuts my senior year is when I would just be like tired and wanted to just watch a movie with my friends. And someone would come up to me and be like, it's your senior year. Are you really going to live like this? Yes, I am going to live like this. And I look back and I'm so grateful for the way I lived my senior year. But I think one of the most important things is that you respect each other. If your friends want to go out, let them. Be so supportive of that because that's the era they're in. Now, I'm not saying if like tendencies are showing to like be supportive of that, but just in general, like if your friends want to go out, let them go out because they let you stay in and they don't give you shit for that and you shouldn't give shit to them. When I first started not going out, I honestly thought like I was on top of the world. I was like, I'm not going out. I'm getting 9 hours and 20 minutes of sleep. I'm going to the gym in the morning. And I had that turnaround and learned really quick that it is okay for someone to go out. It is okay for someone to stay in, but we have to respect that for each other because it's just as annoying if it's the other way around. We're all in our own eras. We're all having our own kinds of fun, and we deserve to have that fun. And it should be respected if it's warranted, but that's something that we should respect for each other. So just like someone may not want to hear, you're going out again, someone may also not want to hear, oh my gosh, you're not drinking at the bar, you're so brave. Like, if that's what makes me brave, then wow, like, pat on the back to me. But for real, guys, we have to be respectful of each other. But there's so many pressures around drinking. There's so much pressure to go out. And I want to talk about how it doesn't always have to look like that. And even if you're in a college environment, it doesn't need to be like that. And you will find people that you mesh with that like to go out. But you will also find people that you mesh with that like to stay in and like to do the things you do. And just because they don't like to do what you do doesn't mean it's not going to be a wonderful friendship. I have friends who absolutely adore going out, and I am like, pat on the back to you guys. I wish I could do that. But they are also respectful of me. And they're like, Caroline, what do you need? Go home. Like, we're so happy you made it an hour. Proud of you, girl. But go have your fun and do your wholesome activities now because you deserve it. And they don't like beg me to go out. I think we made that very clear very early that I don't like being begged to the point of like they just know I don't want to go out. There's a difference between begging like, oh my gosh, we want you there, we're gonna miss you so much, and begging like, Caroline, this is your last senior bar night of your senior summer sunrise, whatever. Like, they knew the difference, and I think it's so important in friendships for people to know that difference of like, we really want you out, we want you with us, versus like, you have to come out, this is ridiculous, why aren't you coming out, and like almost guilt tripping you. That was never a thing with my friends, and I'm so lucky that when I was like, okay, I'm not going out, I didn't have to make 101 excuses why, or they weren't on me about it. They were just like, okay. And that's something I respect in our friendship so much, because there are friendships out there where you literally have to lie instead of just being like, I don't want to go out, I'm really not feeling like it. You have to be like, I'm sick, or I have so much homework to do, like I can't do it. Like, there's some people where you just can't say, I don't want to go out, I really just don't have it in me, or I just don't want to go out. And for some reason, like, people can't understand that. And then they're like, but why? It's your first bar night on a Saturday of the first month of October. Luckily for me, my friends did not do that, but if I had $1 for the amount of times I heard it in other friend groups where they're like saying stuff like that, I'm like, they obviously don't want to go out, they want to have a movie night, they want to stay in, please respect that and please let them. Oh my goodness, it doesn't matter if it's the first, last trip, like, oh my goodness. Hang on, I'm so off track right now, but I need to pull a sound up for TikTok because this is exactly what I mean.
I don't want to go to the bars. I don't want to go to the club. I just want to go to dinner with my best friends, split a bunch of appetizers, talk some shit, drink some drinks, and then go home.
Like, she took the words right out of my mouth. Like, what I'm hearing is I am her and she is me. Okay, but real talk now, because I've been being silly for the past 20 minutes, it's time to, like, hone in, Caroline. First things first, if it is not something that you enjoy, that you have fun doing, how are you going to miss out? You want to stay in and someone tells you you're going to miss out. What are you going to miss out on? Think about when you wanted to stay in, but someone begged you to come out, so you did. And, you know, sometimes you might have fun, but a lot of the times it's just you answering social cues. It's you filling these social expectations that other people have for you, that you just don't really even have fun, that you're almost just going through the motions. I think about the times where people would drag me out, and I can remember one time where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you dragged me out. But for the most part, the times were me just kind of tiptoeing around, being like, okay, when can I go home? This is not what I want to do, and my anxiety levels are high. At the time, my mind was, if you're sober, you're boring. If you're drunk, you're fun. Now, did that have any sense to it? Absolutely not, but that was my thought process. So anytime I went out, I assumed I had to drink and to almost like get into character of that night. Because then I made it to the point where I was like, how am I supposed to talk to my crush if I don't have liquid courage? It was a bunch of nonsense made up in my head that was made up by college societal standards. And I quickly learned throughout my years that you can go out and be sober and still have fun. Now, the first time I proposed this idea to myself, I was like, Caroline, you're crazy. You can't. I was like, you can't be around all these drunk people and be dead sober and still have fun. I was like, Caroline, it would literally be like Katie Herring from Mean Girls watching all those people become animals around you and you just standing still. I was like, these worlds simply cannot go together. These worlds clash. And the second I realized that drinking and my anxiety medicine did not go together, I had to pick. I was like, okay, you can have fun in the moment or you can spiral the next day because your medicine isn't working right because you drank. And I chose to pick me first. I chose that I wasn't going to spiral the next day because my anxiety medicine was off. And I decided I would start going to these things sober and see how it went. And it was honestly one of the best things that's happened to me because I could still have fun. I could still be myself. I could still remember everything I was saying and not have anxiety the next day wondering what I said to what or, oh my gosh, why did I say this to them? And then go on the next day and have a full day that's not ruined by me not feeling well or me being anxious, etc., etc. And that honestly was my golden ticket in college. It was the best thing I learned because I realized I could do it all when I wanted to do it all. I could go out, not drink, but then be okay the next day to still do the 101 things I wanted to get done that day and have a good time doing them. Now, I haven't fully mastered it yet, but I am learning drunk confidence because when we're drunk, we think we have the most confidence in the world. We say we have this liquid courage and we think we can talk to anyone and everyone about anything we want and really let loose. Now, honestly, it's just your mindset allowing you to get there, that you think once you're drunk, then you can do it. And it's getting out of that mindset and realizing, okay, it's just me being sober now and having that confidence that I had when I was drunk. It was never about the liquid courage. It was about the confidence you had. And you have that confidence all along. I just think when you're drunk, you realize you have the confidence more. So when you're sober and you're going out, you can start to learn to master drunk confidence sober. And you can realize that you actually do have that confidence and you don't need to be drunk to have that confidence. And not only is that amazing in this environment because it helps you out a lot, but it also helps you in so many more situations because you find confidence in yourself at all times and you're not looking for external things to validate that confidence. And that really helped me. Because honestly, when we're drunk, the reason why we have this confidence is because we're portraying another version of ourselves. We're playing another character. So I did my makeup the way I felt really confident in. I put on an outfit I loved and had a drink in my hand that wasn't alcoholic. I just had a seltzer water with a lime or something. So it looked like I was drinking, but people couldn't tell. Because one thing that always bugged me is people are like, oh, you're not drinking? Where's your drink? And then it's just kind of that awkwardness of explaining why you're not drinking because people are just curious, especially when they're drunk. And I think a lot of the pressure of not feeling like you fit in or feeling like you're quote unquote matching the energy if you're sober is because people know you're sober. So you just have to play your cards. You have to get that confidence from realizing, okay, all eyes aren't on me, Because honestly, we live in a society where everyone is just so worried and focused on themselves that we think that, oh my gosh, if I'm sober, everyone's going to notice and everyone's going to watch me. But if you are nervous about people watching you and feeling like you're being quote unquote judged, just have a fake drink in your hand. Then you can still feel like you're fitting in without having to drink. And honestly, at all these kinds of parties and functions, there's just so much pressure to have fun, and the pressure is so hard sometimes that we completely lose focus of what fun actually is because we're just so invested in the idea of, oh, we need to have fun, we need to look like we're having fun, everyone's watching me, he's watching me, my crush is watching me. You guys, as silly as it may sound, no one is watching you. You are the one watching you. Think about when you're at the gym and you're like, oh my gosh, people are watching me all around. I don't think you can think of one time you were at the gym where you were just watching someone else instead of yourself. So by following what you want to do, by not drinking when you don't want to drink, by going out when you want to go out and not having a drink when you don't want to drink, is only going to benefit you more and more and grow your confidence stronger every day, because you can realize on your own what you're capable of. And then you can start having these conversations in everyday life and be able to have these conversations more clearly and authentically, because when people are drunk around you, it's like your practice round. It's like you building up that confidence every time. But I also want to make it known that if you have a friend that is sober or a friend that doesn't like drinking, don't assume your sober friend doesn't want to go out, because TBH, it's a poor excuse and it's hurtful. Sober people can still go out and can still have fun and should be considered in every situation still. And honestly, sometimes it baffles me that people are like, oh, we're going out for drinks, but you don't drink, so we didn't bother inviting you. That's like saying, oh, we're going to an Italian restaurant, but I know you don't like pizza, so we didn't invite you. It doesn't make sense there, and it doesn't make sense in this context either. I don't know if it's the reasoning. The way I thought of it was, when this happened to me, was that I thought about it from their point of view and was like, okay, well, maybe they're thinking of it like, okay, if they were sober, they wouldn't want to be surrounded by a bunch of drunk people. And maybe that's where they're coming from. But for me, I can do that and I still have fun doing that, because I've learned that lifestyle and I have fun doing it. Whether I'm drunk, whether I'm sober, I know how to have fun, and I'm still the same kind of fun in both environments. Sometimes people will even question, how are you having fun right now? You're sober. How can you deal with this? And honestly, sometimes it's a very valid question, because sometimes you're surrounded by complete chaos. But most of the time, again, it's learning that confidence. It's learning that environment. It's learning that you can thrive in any environment and you don't need an external force to be able to thrive. So I want you to realize that the pressure around going out and drinking is what you make of it. I think a lot of the time we think there's more pressure than there actually is to follow these things, to go out, to drink, just because everyone around us is. And sometimes we have to do things that not everyone else is doing. We have to be a leader sometimes. We have to be a leader for ourselves and for our health and for how we want to feel the next day. And lucky for you, you control you. You control all of your decisions, and you have the power to do that. I don't care if everyone around you is drinking. If it is not something you want to do, don't do it. If you don't want to drink, don't drink. If you don't want to go out, don't go out. If you just want to have a night in with your friends or go out to dinner and talk about life, then that's what you should do. You shouldn't let other people determine your plans. You shouldn't let other people determine the way your night's going to go. And the right people will always be respectful of that and understand that, but it's also important that you respect them as well. If they want to go out but you want to stay in, you don't make them feel less than because they're going out. They're having fun and they deserve to have fun, and vice versa. It's so important we respect both sides, because there's pressures from both ends. Maybe you're at a different spot in life than them, but either way, you shouldn't make someone feel less than for the choices that they're making, because hey, we are all at a different stage in our life. We're doing so many different things in life, and we get to decide what that looks like. But whether you go out, whether you stay in, there's not one better way to do it. You're not better if you go out. You're not better if you stay in. There's not one answer. You're doing what's best for you. And especially in college, especially post-grad, when you're navigating life, the right people and your true friends will be able to understand that and not question you or badger you to want to do something different. In college, there were times where I just forced myself to go out after dealing with like an awful week of intense anxiety episodes just to people please. And the only thing that did was make me spiral and make me worse and make me question my decisions the morning after. So when it comes to social pressures, when it comes to drinking, when it comes to going out, you need to do what's best for you. And every choice you make is the right one for you. And I don't want you to think, oh, if I don't go out, well, what if I miss something? Everything that is meant to happen to you in your lifetime is going to happen to you. It's going to serve you. It's going to find you. There would be times I wouldn't want to go out, and then I'd be like, well, what if I'm supposed to meet my husband tonight and now I never do? Please, if I hate the bar, why am I going to find my future husband there? It just doesn't even make sense. So honestly, think about what you're thinking when you're like, oh, well, I have FOMO. I'm scared I'm going to miss out. Or what if? Everything that is meant to find us will find us, and it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And for what it's worth, I spent more than 3/4 of my college career inside doing other things, watching movies, doing wholesome things with my friends. And I turned out just fine and have so many wonderful memories to look back on and so many wonderful friendships. And it all just comes when it's meant to, and it'll serve you the way it's supposed to. So make your decisions for you, not for the people around you, and people please yourself. Don't people please the people around you. People please you. And I promise, when you look back, you are going to be so thankful that you made these decisions for you and not for the people around you. And you're just going to be so much more happier and fulfilled that you did it for you. It's the power of confidence. And with that, make sure you're following On the Bright Side Pod with 2 Ds, and make sure you rate. The more 5 stars I get, the more opportunities we get for On the Bright Side, and the more we get to grow this community. I am so thankful and grateful for you all, and thank you for coming on this journey with me. And now I will be recovering from my social weekend out and recharging my social battery because, wow, I am not the college kid I used to be. It's literally just 6 months ago. All right, with that, stay looking on the bright side, and I promise you it'll serve you well. I'm going back to bed. Love you guys. Bye.